Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to the Scoot on the O YouTube channel. Sorry, I've been absent. I've just been really kind of overwhelmed with some things recently, but thank you for being with me here. If you're tuning in and you haven't become a subscriber, I hope you will subscribe. It's free, and we give you a notice every time we post something live. I appreciate those of you who have become subscribers. Thank you, and please feel free to become a subscriber. I just got back from seeing Cats, the musical, at the Sanger Theater in downtown New Orleans, and I mean, I loved it. It was excellent. The talent on that stage was just extraordinary. The dancing, ballet, tap, acrobatics, the singing, it was amazing, and they did such a good job with uh, doing cat-like moves. The dancing included cat-like moves, and it was really cool. And there was some humor about Cats in it as well. If you've seen Cats, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Cats at the Sanger, New Orleans was really awesome. Hey, today on my radio show on WWL, we talked about the disco era because it was on this day, December 14th, 1977. The movie Saturday Night Fever hit movie theaters nationwide. And the disco era was something to behold. I consider myself fortunate enough to have lived through it. Some things about it I think were very embarrassing, like the fashions, the polyester shirts and the bell-bottom pants. Well, the bell-bottom pants were cool. Hip hugger bell-bottom pants, wide belts, the big platform shoes, crepe soles. Yeah, I had all of that. Some of that was embarrassing, but the music was great, and it was a fun time, and it was fun talking about this on the air, and also thinking about how this country had gone through such serious times in the late '60s and '70s, and Watergate was over, and the Vietnam War was changing, um, but the country had been through a lot of tension, and so disco and the nature of the music really provided an escape for an entire generation. And it was another way that the generation could distance themselves from the establishment. So it was cool. It was fun. Music was great. Some of it was a little cheesy, but it was it was great here. And here in New Orleans, there was an area called Fat City, and it's out in the suburbs in Metairie. And in this, I don't know, um, 15 block by 15 block square, 10 by 15 block square, there were nightclubs, and we would go from one nightclub to another. And if you were here at the time, you remember that. If you weren't here at the time, I'm sure there was a place in your city where disco was popular, but we would walk from one club to another. In fact, the area of Fat City in the suburb of New Orleans really rivaled the French Quarter. In fact, local people were not going to the French Quarter. They were going to Fat City. So it was just it was a crazy time. All right, but I want to bring up something that I've talked about on the radio show before, and I've got some evidence that I think kind of supports what I've said. I have believed for a long time that many of the armed carjackings are designed to strike terror in communities. That one of the things that motivates young thug punks to do this is because they know they're terrorizing people. I've also mentioned that it's become a recreational sport to this segment of the population. And supporting my assumptions here, I think lie in this story. New Orleans police say that Monday night, and this was about 11:30 at night, Monday night about 11:30, a 22-year-old female was carjacked near Loyola University in uptown New Orleans. She was behind a van, an SUV, and she pulls behind the SUV and at a stop sign, and like several guys get out. They're armed. They take her car and her cell phone. They, they, just took the car. This is the part that convinces me that I'm right in calling carjackers terrorists. They want to terrorize a community. The woman's vehicle was abandoned a block away. They weren't trying to get the car, to sell the car to a chop shop. They weren't trying to get money. These thug punks were just out having fun. It's recreation to those bastards. And it's also a way to instill terror. Look, these little son of a bitches, they feel so meaningless. They feel so worthless in life that they gain a sense of power by instilling terror in a community. And when there's a carjacking in a neighborhood, the neighborhood's terrorized. These bastards know what they're doing. And I have honestly believed for a long time that they gain a sense of power. They've got nothing. And I'm not excusing the bastards. They've got nothing. And so by instilling power, by instilling fear and terror in a community, they get a sense of power. Even if it's on a subconscious level. Look what we did. Look what we can do. We can make people scared of us. Well, it's bullshit. And it needs to stop. What's going to stop this? I don't know. But somebody better figure out a way to do it. And I think it's time for us to stop feeling sorry and expressing so much empathy for thug punks. Yes, it is true. They didn't ask to come into this world. And many of them are in this world as a result of just random, meaningless sex a man and a woman had and created this child. And they brought the child in the world, and they didn't give a shit about the child. They didn't raise the child. And the child is now a thug punk. I hope we can find a way to hold parents accountable for failing to be parents. We've got to figure that out. Because they may not care about their kids, but they may care about their asses being in jail, their asses being arrested, their asses working to pay money back in restitution. Because this shit's got to stop. We have a mayor in New Orleans, Mayor Latoya Cantrell, and she does not have the courage to address this issue. Why doesn't she even address it? She's the leader of our city. And communities are terrorized by thug punks. And judges go light on these people. They get arrested, they get out. And the little punks, they know that nothing's going to really happen to them. And if something serious happens, they're out when they're 21. So what? They don't care. Some of them have such a shitty home life that being in jail is not that big of a deal. It should be shameful to be in jail. But to a lot of people, it's not. It's a family reunion. It's a rite of passage. And I think getting shot or shooting somebody is also a rite of passage now. The Metropolitan Crime Commission here in New Orleans says carjackings are up from last year. They've increased 167%. Homicides, shootings, up over 100%. And New Orleans is not the only city that's experiencing this. And again, what's going to stop it? Maybe shaming parents, holding parents accountable. You can't start disciplining your kid when your kid's 12 years old. This is something you do from the very beginning of their life. And if you're not prepared to be a parent, stop having sex. I'm serious. You don't have to have sex. And if you have sex and a child is created, you parent that child, or you should suffer the consequences of not parenting that kid. Because when that kid turns out into society and becomes a menace to all of us, we shouldn't have to put up with that shit. And it really is time for us to not be afraid, to show less empathy, and to have a stronger stance in terms of punishing these bastards. Punish them. And if going to jail isn't punishment enough, find another way to punish them. Find a constitutional way to punish the bastards. Because they're not trying to be part of a civilized society. We don't need them. We don't need them among us. We don't need them. They're worthless. What do? Not a damn thing. Except maybe create some terror. So trust me, and this latest story, I think, adds evidence to what I believe. That carjacking has become a recreational sport to these thug punks. And they gain a sense of power, knowing that when they carjack or rob somebody, they're instilling terror in a neighborhood. Yeah. Worthless citizens that need to be dealt with. I'm Scoot. Thank you for joining me on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. Join me on my radio show on WWL Radio in New Orleans. If you're in New Orleans or the Gulf South, it's 870 AM, 1053 FM, or you can go to our website, WWL.com, and stream the show. I'm on the air Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 Central Time, 1 to 4 in the afternoon Central Time. And you can also download the app Odyssey, AUDACY, and type in WWL, and you've got our show wherever you have your phone.